Podcast, another exciting edition. I'm Robbie-Ann McPherson on the East Coast.
I'm Amy Asbury on the West Coast.
How are you guys? We hope everything's good. You can always hit us up in DMs, Instagram, GlitterBeeGirls, or Twitter, GlitterBeeGirls. Let us know what's up. So today, we get right into it, as always. We're talking about deadly toys. Playtime or slay time? Yes, you remember all of those toys from your childhood, Gen X, that, first of all, wouldn't even make the shelf today. And second, we survived, right, Aim?
We did somehow.
Right. Okay, I wanna kick things off with one that, at first it doesn't seem like it's a dangerous toy, but when you really think about it, and if you've ever played with these things, you realize why. The super elastic bubble plastic by Whammo. Do you remember this, Aim?
I love the smell of that.
Right? Okay, but it's like some chemical Love Canal petroleum product, right? And you would blow into a straw. You would like dip it in the super elastic bubble plastic, and then you would blow. And the goo on the end of the straw would like blow up into like a weird, colorful kind of tie-dye plastic bubble. But here's what the plastic was actually made of, Aim. Are you ready for this?
Oh, no.
Polyvinyl acetate, ethyl acetate, and acetone. And this gave off noxious fumes. So if you ever felt stupid and loopy after playing with the super elastic bubble plastic like I sure did, you accidentally inhaled some of these noxious fumes. Now, can you imagine today somebody coming out on the market with some toy like this?
No, but when you say the word vinyl in there, in that big long word,
polyvinyl acetate,
base word vinyl, it did smell like vinyl.
Yeah, exactly.
That caught my ear. I feel like I still see that stuff hanging on a teeny little side rack at Vaughn's.
No kidding.
But it's probably made with some organic kale now.
It's made with hemp
lavender
now.
And some eucalyptus or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Apparently, some companies have tried to make less toxic versions, so maybe there is a less toxic version. But then it's not really super elastic bubble plastic, because that was kind of the whole, point of the thing, was like you're blowing up these noxious plastic bubbles.
And it's funny because mine was always like an inch big. It's like I could have just chewed some bubble yum and done the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would you'd either get like a little tiny bubble, and it would pop or whatever. Or you would get this really big bubble and you'd be like,
what?
Wow, look at that. And then you're like, okay, what do I do with it?
You save it. You
right?
seal the end and you stick it on your nightstand or your desk and you stare at it and you run out and play and you come back and it's like deflated.
But it would never, yeah, exactly. It would never last. Like, it's not like you could blow it up and then, hang it on a wall or whatever. Like, it would always die. It was a finite, temporary thing. Kind of like blowing soap bubbles, right? Where you would just take the wand and like run around with it.
I don't recall being disappointed in not being able to keep it. I think it was the actual act of making it that thrilled and delighted me, and then I just ran off. But sometimes when I blew a bubble, like with bubble yum, and it was a really good bubble, I would put it in the freezer and freeze it because I wanted to stare at it longer. But then it would, of course, kind of pop in the freezer.
Right. I never heard of that.
Well, you heard it here first, my friends.
Yeah, and we did discuss in a prior episode where we talked about food, or was it candy? We did discuss the whole Bubble Yum versus Bubblicious issue. So just a sidebar
you mean Bubblicious, you could taste grains in it. Just kind of grainy.
That was my favorite because the grains were sugar.
It wasn't smooth enough for me.
Yeah, I love that. But Bubble Yum, I think, made better bubbles because it was
Mm-hmm.
smooth.
It
Yeah,
was
I
very
agree with
smooth.
that. So, so your turn. What deadly like lethal toy comes to your mind from your childhood?
Deadly lethal toy. Mine wouldn't be of the chemical sort. It would just be me either getting my hand stuck in it or like throwing a baton in it, like slamming me in the head like 50 times while I try to catch it, or like
Blunt
playing on
force
like
toys.
like you go on that hot, now they're all plastic, but the hot slide where you just sear yourself like ahi on the grill,
Oh yeah.
and you like just burn the tar out of yourself on the way down, and like you get like every little hair on your arms and legs is like geek because it hurts so bad.
Oh yeah, and if there was a seam in the slide,
Oh
like where the two metal panels come together and they've got the two like rivets in there, and you would hit that seam, and your skin would kind of catch on the slide, and then and
yeah.
if it was especially hot, it was like, oh man, you'd get off of that thing, and it was kind of a badge of honor if if you made it off. I have been known to leap off a slide in the middle because
I
it was
did
too hot.
too. And then, of course, it's that we've all seen the memes and stuff, but it's that merry-go-round, that metal merry-go-round where some teenager comes over. You're on it, you're going kind of nice, and then some teenager comes over and just starts spinning it so fast that
Oh
bodies are
yeah.
flying off. And then you just woof
Yeah, and you
like a
can't
rag
stop
doll.
it when you're on it. Like you just have to gut it out until that thing slows down enough for you to leap off. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, yeah, forget it. Yeah, I
Bodies were
think play.
flinging off like Kermit, like the Muppets when you would see like Kermit's body fly. Like that's what I remember seeing
Yeah,
people's like bodies flying by me. Like goof right in the dirt. It
right.
was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were those instances too where you would have, you'd take turns. You'd be on the slide or on the merry-go-round, and other kids would spin it. It was like a
Mhm.
dare. It was like, get it going as fast as you can. And you'd see how long you could do it. And you're just, I mean, I stumbled off that thing a couple of times. It was like dizzy bat. You'd stumble off and then throw up.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was never fun. And I really think playgrounds in general back then were pretty lethal. I mean, the old monkey bars tower, right? Made out of,
Uh-huh.
lead. First of all, lead pipe.
Of course.
So we're all, I mean, I can't imagine what the lead content of my blood is, but it's like this tower, that looks sort of like a tiered wedding cake, and it's all made out of pipe. And you would climb up the inside, and if you fell, you would be like ting tong ting tong ting, and you would just hit, like 6 bars all the way down as you hit the pavement or
Oh
the
yeah.
asphalt, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I even got knocked out on one of those once.
I got knocked out on one too. High five.
Yeah, high five. Okay, so what happened to you? Were you on the top and you fell, or?
I was just in first grade doing those monkey bars. My legs were so far up because I was a kid, and I just fell straight on the asphalt, slammed my head, the whole thing.
Nice. Were you
Got a
hanging
little
upside
dirt in
down?
my mouth. What's that?
Were you hanging upside down?
No, I was just doing regular monkey bars. Ooh, I wasn't. Some of those kids hung by their knees on that thing.
Yeah,
I
that
did
was
not
me.
do that.
Yeah,
Was that you hanging by your knees?
I hung upside down every chance I got,
Okay.
and paid dearly for that.
Yeah.
And that's how I fell off of the monkey bars tower. I climbed up, and I was hanging from inside the little top tier there.
Right.
And I was like swinging, and then I don't know what happened. I just slipped off, and I just fell straight down, boom, and I smacked my head on the asphalt, and I don't know how long I was out. My dad was like, "Walk it off."
Right. I had a lot of injuries from those playgrounds, but also at the house. I want to say, what toys injured us at the house? I'm drawing a blank, but I know that every toy that was this is made for you to play in your room. I would take it and go, let's play dentist with this thing and make it into some other thing, and it would hurt me.
So you were illegally modifying.
Yeah, I
Your toys weren't
was.
street
So
legal.
I can't really blame, not that I would, but I can't really blame the makers of any toy. I just remember stepping on jacks, those little like
Oh,
spiky jacks. I'd like play the jacks, leave them on the ground, and then step on a little spike, which in my mind is way worse than stepping on a Lego because their spikes are so spiky, you know?
You know, I don't know. To me, it might be a draw because the corners of the Lego are so sharp.
They
And
really are.
if you step on an upside down Lego or a Lego that's on its side and you catch that pointed corner, I mean, that thing can cut glass. Like, and especially if your feet are cold, you know, like you get out of bed or something in the middle of the night and oh my gosh, that is a serious pain. And I would add stepping on a cord like a plug too. That hurts a lot too. I think I stepped on Legos more than I stepped on jacks because I had more Legos. And when I was playing jacks, I was usually outside. So if I stepped on the jack, it was with shoes on.
Oh, I was always barefoot because it was hot.
Yeah.
So I stepped on all sorts of my own toys. And another thing that, this is not generational. This probably still happens today, I'm sure, but getting slammed in the face with one of those red dodgeballs or just the playground ball, woof, smack.
The dodgeball sting, like that.
The dodgeball sting.
That sound, where you could hear the hollowness inside, and it was like a rubber smack on your face. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times. And the thing didn't leave a mark. Like you'd be red, but it's like the old, gangster soap in the or bag of oranges or something, or soap in a pillowcase, where like you beat up somebody because you don't want to leave a mark. Like I swear, I can't tell you how many times a dodgeball hit me right in the face, like not even the head, my face. Because
like
these kids
blank.
they'd aim for your face, right? And you hear that poof, like that weird clanky, I don't know, there's got to be a word for that sound, that horrible sound that a dodgeball makes when it makes contact like with your nose or your
well,
lip.
The funny thing about it was not only was it's not funny, but not only was it humiliating, but there was, not only did it hurt, but it was humiliating. It would bounce off your face and your head would slam backwards. If you're next to a wall or a pole, it would slam you back for a double embarrassment.
Right.
Or if you fell, if it was really close to you, that was embarrassing. So there were several other components to the pain.
Right. Because you're out. Like, not only do you suffer the pain, but you're out. Like you got hit, you're out.
And if you're me and you're wearing glasses, then the glasses smack into your face or they fly off. And there's a whole other component. Did I break my glasses? Is my mom going to kill me?
Yeah, I always dreaded dodgeball. I dreaded the running days in gym, like the 50-yard dash and stuff. I just was not a runner. And dodgeball, that really, you'd walk out of the locker room and then you would just see all those balls like laying around, and then they'd divide the teams and you'd put on the little penny, they called it, right? Some smelly like cloth remnant rag thing that would make you the red team or the orange team.
Oh, we
or the
never
blue
had
team.
that.
Oh, we have them. They called them pennies. I don't know why, but and it was sort of like a little vest, but it was filthy and it had been worn for years and years by sweaty kids, so it stunk.
Like many layers of BO.
Oh yeah. And you'd put this thing over your head and and you'd be like the red team or and you just stand there. I mean, I don't even, do they play dodgeball even today? Like I can't imagine dodgeball getting past, the PTA today.
I don't know that, anything can become dangerous at a school. It just depends on who the person is behind the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like at the house, back to the toys.
Yeah.
A lot of the things it is also the person behind the toy, because even blocks, like here's some blocks and some crazy kid would come over and the block becomes a projectile thing that's going to be lodged in your forehead. So, and then you spin out on your big wheel. It depends on you. Are you the type that's careful with your big wheel? Or are you going to spin out and have road rash on your forehead on your big wheel? Who's the person playing
I was the
toy?
latter. No, I was the latter. I rolled my big wheel. Did you roll your big wheel a lot?
Always.
Yeah, because on the commercial, the kid does that kind of, that little like
Perfect
slide,
spin out.
yeah. And so I would slam on the brake because the big wheel had the pull up brake, like an emergency thing. So you
The e-brake.
pull it up, yeah, yeah, exactly. And you get going fast, and then you pull it and try to like do that spin out. And instead, it would just be like, whoa, and then I would
And you
roll
just
it.
tip over.
Oh yeah, and this just make hamburger out of my elbows, my knees, yeah.
And you know what? The thing was, if the point of gravity was lower, like the guy in the commercial, and there's the base of the big wheel was wide enough, you would just spin out. But if you were taller,
Right.
it's like the whole thing, the gravity of the whole thing is different. So you just tip over and go flying. You know what I mean? So that was the problem.
Yeah, and you know what? I look back now on those, and you know what, you guys, check out our YouTube channel, the Glitter Boom Girls YouTube channel, because we will add these commercials and stuff go into our playlists. But I remember on the commercial, I mean, okay, these are kids that they're filming on these big wheels, but there was no warning, like, do not try this at home, or, they would just show these kids like, yeah, having a good time on the big wheel. And I look back now and I think, I wonder if they like tricked out, like you said, like maybe they weighted the big wheel so this poor kid didn't roll it, or,
he was just so short. His head was like an inch above the seat. So of course it didn't do anything.
Right.
They're like, the casting director's like, I need a 50-pound kid who's exactly 1 foot tall, and then that kid came and filmed that thing.
Whose parents won't sue us if he grinds his skin off his elbow.
And I'm sorry, if they would have said, don't try this at home, I would have bitch slapped the TV. Sorry, everybody. I hate that. No shit. Sorry about the curse scene for Robbie's mom.
Well,
come on.
There's a lot of toys like that, though. You know what? That's a good, an interesting sidebar too, which makes me think of all the ads where it was like accessories not included, and like you had some doll or whatever, and you open the box and all the stuff that was in the commercial, didn't come with it. Like you didn't have the extra outfit or the briefcase or the gun or like whatever. All this stuff you had to go back to Kmart or wherever you got it from and buy the accessory package, that had like the right sneakers or the helmet or something else that came with something, and then of course the batteries not included, right? Like
I always assumed the batteries were not included.
Well,
but as far as some of the, I feel like Hot Wheels and what's the other, Matchbox cars, that. Even as a girl, I could figure out that guy's backyard is not included. Okay, they're doing this in the dirt. In the dirt, they have built little things out of twigs. They have made some mounds of dirt. Do not call Marcia Matchbox and say, where's that whole dirt backyard? It's not included.
Yeah.
It's not included.
Yeah, I was wise enough to understand that and also a lot of those kids, like even with the Legos, you'd buy the track set, but you didn't know you had to buy 2 track sets in order to create what that kid had in his backyard. Like some kid, they had like some rocket engineer who put together 15 different Hot Wheels track sets and made like this unbelievable hilly, cloverleaf thing going on with your Hot Wheels. And, you get the one track and all you can do is like 4 pieces in an oval. And you're like, yeah, but really? That's it?
Definitely the boys' toys, yes. And it did require you to have some imagination. And I remember the commercials for the Star Wars toys, like the Ewok set. You were probably in middle school, but they had a lot of twigs and bushes. And, the guy's little axe would chop through the twigs. So you're like, okay, those twigs, Marcia, are not included.
Who is this Marcia marketer at
No,
Kenner
Marcia's
Toys?
The mom who's bitching.
Marcia's
He's like,
the
where are those
mom.
twigs? And she's all mad, and she's like returning it to Kmart. Where are those bushes? Lady, they didn't fit in the box.
She's the one that has the cereal box, and they have the fresh strawberries cut, and in tiny letters it says serving suggestion. She's the one that thinks that the strawberries come in the box.
Where are the strawberries?
Right? Where are these fresh strawberry slices that they show?
This is the 70s. We don't eat fruit and vegetables, all right? Sprinkle some chemicals on the golden grams and let's call it a day.
We have NutriFoods, okay? We
Go-
have red dye
Mix up some
number 5.
Tang. Yeah, mix up some Tang. Yeah. Add some
Orange
chocolate
drink.
chips to the cereal. You're good. You're good.
Right. But okay, so we digress though. Okay, so back
Yes.
to now everybody knows I'm going to go outside for a minute speaking of backyards. So
Let's do it.
everyone knows that the quintessential deadly toy of the 70s, 80s was the lawn jart. And for people who, if you guys are listening, and I can't believe anyone listening doesn't know what a lawn jart is. And yeah, I'm saying it right. Jart.
Okay, tell us about it.
It's a giant dart, basically.
Okay.
Like, little like bar pub darts that you play and you throw into the little bullseye. These were giant darts, and they had metal, like spikes on the end. And the idea was it was kind of like a throwing game. Like you would toss the lawn jart and, and it would go like 15 feet. And then the next person would toss, and like whoever got it the farthest was, won. So it was kind of in a way, it was kind of like a croquet type scoring system where,
What's
it was
jart though? I don't get it.
Well, you know what? I don't know. That's a good question.
Not dart.
Is it like javelin?
Oh, maybe javelin.
But I mean, these things ended up spiked into more kids' bodies. It was like, like it would just, because as you said, it all depends on who's handling the toy. It's a user qualifier.
Results may vary. Results may vary depending on your mental health and your temperament.
Yeah. Results may vary from, oh, look, my jart went 20 feet in the lawn to, oh my God, call 911 because it's in his eye. Like,
are you crazy? Are you crazy and want to harm someone with said jart?
Yeah.
Jart will have a different result than mild-mannered, Robbie-Ann over here who wants to just get it across the little finish line of chalk or whatever.
Yeah. Now, here's a very dramatic, sad note.
Tell me.
Lawn jarts were banned in the U.S. in 1988 because a 7-year-old girl died. Like, how horrible is that?
Oh,
right?
That's horrible.
And in the 8 years leading up to their American ban, so between 1980 and 1988, 6,100 people went to the hospital in America from a lawn jart injury. Like, holy cow. I mean, that's pretty substantial. And then how tragic. This poor little girl died. Apparently there was a lawsuit in Canada. Like, I don't know, who thought this up? I mean, maybe we need to look into the origins of lawn jarts.
I don't think anybody expected that to happen, but I am very sad about it. I recall something that was very painful when I had an easy bake oven and I tried to reach in there to get my cake out and burn the tar out of my hand. The cake was incredibly hot and seared the entire roof of my mouth off.
Yeah. Easy bake ovens, that bulb in there, whatever it's made of, I mean, nothing's hotter than that thing. Like the burner on the stove isn't hotter than the bulb inside an easy bake oven. And you burn the top of your hand, right? Because you would reach in there.
And I could not wait for it to cool.
Yeah, no.
I just could not.
Well, because the middle wasn't done. The middle was the lava.
Why?
The middle was like molten lava, and then the burn was around the edge. Because they would give you those cardboard brownie trays with the silver insulated thing that was sort of metallic or whatever. I mean, who knows what that's made of? Some poison chemical, poisonous acetate something.
It was
bonded with
crazy.
it. Yeah.
And then after you would make your little, well, I think I was a little younger when this came out, but there was a sit and spin that you sat on this little disc and you just spun yourself. You wrapped your legs around this little circle and there's this little pillar in the middle. And with the little, it's kind of like the teacups at Disneyland for anyone who's been to Disneyland. You spin yourself on the sit and spin and you get so dizzy that your little cake starts rising in your throat. You spin yourself and then you're like, oh, what have I done to myself?
I always had a lot of brush burns from the sit and spin because I would sit and spin and then somehow, like half fall off of it and, burn this, like grind up the skin on my legs on the pavement or something. Like I'm surprised today that I don't have like scars all over me from how many times at somebody's pool I fell and got a brush burn and some horrible, scrape, or on pavement, asphalt, all that kind of stuff. Like I was constantly falling off my bike, falling out of trees,
Did you have that bouncy ball where you sat on it and there was a handle?
Yeah.
And you just bounced on the asphalt?
Yeah.
And then you just, gave yourself a
got
concussion?
a super fat lip from that thing because you'd fall forward and you're holding onto the ball and you would just smack your head like right on the pavement.
That thing was crazy because I would use that on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And just whatever way I turned, whatever way the wind was blowing, slam my head. Speaking of slamming my head in the ground, slip and slide. I would scorpion. I would my face would get caught and my legs would go up over my back. I would bend into this crazy horseshoe. It was so painful.
Yeah, I hurt myself several times on a slip and slide. And
what happened?
they when you dove on it, they would show again in the commercial. They show these people diving on it and like going down a hill or something, right? Well,
yeah.
Let me tell you, when you dive onto a flat surface, like you dive on the ground,
Yeah.
you can snap your neck and you're also going to hit the ground with your rib cage and your face, basically. Like it's one of those things where you watch the commercial and you're like, oh my God, that looks like fun. And they would, and just like you said before with the kid's backyard, the Hot Wheels kid, that same kid had the slip and slide in his backyard,
right,
and had the right hose set up and the hill, and and so the hose was running down the slip and slide,
and a little bit of Wesson oil on there,
right?
So
Grease it up
better.
Yeah. And we at my house, at one of the houses I grew up in when I was a little bit older, like middle school, we had a big hill in the backyard, and we put a slip and slide on that hill. And another thing they don't tell you is that in the commercials, they might have like 2 or 3 slip and slides all in a row so that you would just shoot down the hill, right? Well, if you have one slip and slide and the hill is steep enough, as ours was, you would slide on it and then you would hit the grass abruptly.
Hit the grass.
And
yep.
I mean, dislocated fingers, smashing your head on the ground, like all kinds of injuries.
So fun,
yeah.
Well, we were so cheap that we used a bunch of garbage bags on the ground with the hose, tried to slide, and then the garbage bag would and you just kind of scoot and your body just flips over onto the other garbage bag. We were classy people.
You had the ratchet slip and slide.
It was janky.
Yeah. So okay, I just going back 1 second to the Lawn Jarts. Apparently, the company that made them was called the RB Jart Company. So I don't know.
They loved their toy. They were all happy. We made a toy, and then they were like these killers.
Right.
Poor
and
guys.
then all of a sudden, they were banned. The sale. Oh, and just so you guys know, in case you're looking up on eBay, the sale of secondhand lawn darts is also illegal under the Hazardous Products Act. So don't go looking for. Yeah, don't go looking for.
I'm so sorry that happened to that poor girl, and I'm sure the people that came up with the toy were all excited, like we made a cool thing. It's our legacy.
Well, they are still legal in the European Union.
Okay,
so
EU.
You can go over there with your euros, and you can buy and play Lawn Jarts.
There it is. Did you ever smoke candy cigarettes?
Yeah, I did a little bit, but I always hated the smell of cigarettes, and I didn't like the candy that it was too chalky. They tasted like chalk to me.
Ours was gum with a little bit of powder around it, so we were like, ooh.
Oh no, ours was like a thin piece of sweet chalk, and it didn't taste good, and so I was never really into candy cigarettes, but I did eat the all the other various weird candies, like the ones the bubble gum shaped like a hamburger and the dots on the paper. Like I think we covered that in our
We
one of
did,
our
but
candies
no
ones.
cigars or cigarettes for you?
No, because I never liked smokers. My mom smoked.
I love smokers.
So.
My grandmother was a smoker, and she had her little purse. She'd open it, and there'd be like her lighter in there with her cigarettes and like some cash.
Yeah, she had the little pouch, like the leather
She had the pouch,
cigarette
with her
pouch.
glasses like in the other side. So I had good memories of cigarettes, which is quite sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, yeah, candy cigarette. I just have it hanging out of my mouth, putting my garbage bags down in the backyard.
Yeah.
Charging kids on the street to ride on said garbage bags, which I actually did. I'm like, it's a quarter. And then I'd use a quarter to go buy what? Now and laters.
Now and laters. Boy, I haven't had a now and later in a long time.
Well, you're lucky because you lose a tooth or a crown trying to get it,
probably
out of the back of your mouth. I didn't have these, but a lot of people talk about those click-clack balls, slamming them in the head.
Oh, God. Oh, those
Did
are
you have
terrible. I played with them a little bit, but not much. Because, first of all, I didn't understand... Like you would kind of swing these things and they were these two plastic balls on the end of these strings and they would clack together, right? And the idea was to make them clack.
Yeah. What rhythm do I need to make this happen?
Yeah, and it was like it was sort of a hand motor kind of a skill, and I don't know, I just wasn't that into it. I liked much better the paddle with the rubber ball on the rubber band. And it was stapled to the paddle.
That thing going.
I could do that for a long time. I'd be like whap 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 whap.
You're coordinated.
Yeah,
I love that ball. It was so perfectly round, and I love the texture of that little spongy ball.
Yeah,
that I would end up cutting that ball off that string and just saving the little ball in my little how you have a box when you're a kid of like just things you like.
Right, rando.
And the'd be like an eraser in there. I'd have that ball. And like maybe one now and later that I'd save, or just little stuff, a little twig from the backyard that was shaped like a heart or whatever,
right,
rock that had a hole through it, something like that.
Yeah, I attached a lot of weird meaning to weird stuff too. But I loved those Superballs that look like marbles, right? They're clear and they have like a little design. And I got hit in the face with a lot of those. And guess who threw it? Me. Because I would whip it at a wall or something, and it would be like poof, and it would hit me in the face.
The funny thing is, you'd hear it banging off a bunch of stuff, but you wouldn't know where it went. You'd hear it like shattering your mom's teacups, like pop, 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 pop. You're like, where is it?
Right.
Where is that damn thing?
And if you threw it at the ground, there was no telling which direction that thing was going to go boing. And I mean, it could, it could hit you. It could, like you said, it could hit your mom's china cabinet. It could bounce over here. And, I haven't had a Super Ball in a while. It'd be fun. Nowadays, people throw stress balls.
And shattered my china. That story is actually what happened in my house not long ago, like 10 years ago.
Karma.
Yeah, but it was like my favorite teacup. The little Super Ball from the little, you put the quarter in the little gum machine.
Yeah.
Pap, 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 pap. It shattered every little piece of little antique in my room with one ball. It just hit everything. It's like, let me go past this little cheap thing and shatter that little Royal Downton. Anyway.
Yeah, those toys were dangerous, I think. The ones that came out of the little bubble gum machines.
Those things passed through like the FDA, not the FDA, that's a food and drug, but whatever the
FTC, the Federal Trade Commission,
things,
Consumer Safety
I wouldn't need to regulate
Commission.
gumball machines.
Yeah. Well, what could happen with this little toy that some kid could swallow? Yeah, and they were a quarter. Like gumballs were a dime, but a quarter was big money. Like you had to have a quarter to get the thing, and some of the toys were really intricate and kind of cool. And some are really lame. Like you'd get the ring, that it was like a little plastic spider or something, and it was, you'd put it on your finger. And I was like, oh man, I got a ring.
Oh, you got a plastic spider? That's hateful. I never got that.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, you were hoping for the Super Ball. That was kind of the, that was the golden ticket coming out of the gumball machine.
That was our currency also because, as a kid, unless you're like me, like selling rides on the garbage bag, you don't have money. But you did have currency, like I'll trade you this bouncy ball for those four like little caps in the cap gun. Their little red paper roll of caps, or I don't know if you guys had illegal fireworks. Ours weren't illegal back then, but we had little, black caps with a little fuse. I'll trade you some fireworks for that bouncy ball. We'd have that going on.
I traded. We did, fireworks. I guess that's another one. But before we jump to that, I remember trading my friend Connie in grade school. And if you guys go back to when we talk about cereal, we talked about these Freakies cereal. Connie had the whole set of all the Freakies. Collect them all. She had them all. And I had these little like Christmas angel wooden ornaments that were super cute, and and I think at some point they were my mom's, so I may have appropriated them. But I remember I don't know how Connie got to see them, or I don't remember that part, but I do remember the transaction, and I remember handing over like 6 of these matching angel wooden ornaments that were so cute, and Connie giving me all the full Freaky set.
The full set?
The full set.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I don't have it anymore. I lost it. Who knows? So I hope Connie still has those wooden angels because they were cute. I mean, in retrospect, I think it was probably not a wise investment on my part.
Well, neither of them were dangerous, and neither of them hurt you. So for that I am glad. And hopefully neither of you stepped on said figurines and hurt your foot.
Right. Or broke it.
Yeah. Now, did you have any serious injuries as a kid due to anything that was just a random occurrence, like you slipped on your Barbie doll and, anything like that?
I did when I was about 4. I had a period within 3 weeks where I smashed my right cheek on something. Like my dad was holding me at some kind of a baseball game, and my parents were like standing on the foul line, and I mean nowadays you'd be behind the fence, but no, they were standing on the foul line. And some guy, hit the ball, and the foul just made a beeline for my face and like smashed my right cheek. And then like 2 weeks later, I was in my parents' bedroom, fell and hit that same cheek on the rail on their bed, like the foot of the bed, smashed my face there. And then there was a third incident now that I know what it was. On my swing set, I don't know if you guys had this, but on my swing set, there was a standing swing. Like,
that thing was cool.
Right? Like it was like a square, and it had 4 posts connected to the swing. It was a double swing set, double top swing set.
Love that thing.
And you could get on it, and you would like do a ski motion, and you could slide back and forth. So I was doing that not even a week later. So now, I can't believe I didn't shatter my cheekbone, but it was already like I had a big black and blue goose egg. I fell off the standing swing, and the swing went up, came down, and smashed me in the exact same spot.
Yeah. That swing knows that you're injured, so it's like, what, let me give her a little kick in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. My big fear was the swing set tipping over, because it would come out of the ground, It would
come out of the ground when you went really high, like the little, and some kids were like, let's get it to tip over. I'm like, no, let's not.
Right. I was always like, we're out of control if it tips over. Like, we can't, we're in trouble. But my mom they actually ended up taking me for x-rays because they were worried that my cheek and I don't know, I had some rubber bones or whatever. My cheekbone did not break, but yeah, that was brutal. What about you? Did you have any playtime hospitalization required visits?
What? Yeah, there was one, and I might have told you guys this. I think I did. I was trying to pull myself up in a tree, so I tied a rope around my hips, and the knot was at like where my belly button is, kind of around that area. Threw the rope over a branch and was pulling myself up into a tree. I don't know who came up with this, but no toy was
saw
involved.
It on TV.
Saw it on TV. So I slip out of the little noose around my middle, and it catches me by the ankle. So I'm holding myself in the air by my ankle upside down. I think I told you guys that. But
And
anyway, yeah. So
who
then
rescued you? Was it your
I
parents
was
or?
with two boys and they were like, and I finally just like let myself go. I let the rope go and I just slammed into the ground. And I had to go to the hospital for, I think I don't know, messed up my kidneys or something. Like something happened.
Oh my God, that's serious.
Yeah, it hurt. I just remember it hurt. How about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, all the time we would be like, let's ride our bikes into this pyramid of garbage cans. Let's play, we would always like make some awful thing. Let's make a ramp and ride the Barbie motorhome through we just make some crazy, dangerous thing.
Right. Yeah, I do
I
remember.
didn't get injured though. I made the thing and watched the boys do it usually and was
Yeah.
like, oops, that must hurt,
But see, that's what's so crazy when I look back is how many times I did not get injured. Like I mean, I had a real compulsion to climb trees when I was a kid. I fell out of them all the time and I never broke any
Same, yeah.
bones. Yeah, I never like broke my arm or anything.
Uh-huh.
And
Same.
I got the wind knocked out of me a lot.
Right.
Which if that's ever happened to you guys, what a weird
it's-
sensation. You can't, you're lying on your back and you can't breathe in and you're just kind of going, Wah! Like
Right.
the wind
You're
is
just on
like
the ground.
pushed out of you. I got
Uh-huh.
that happened to me falling out of trees and falling off a horse once. I was like
God.
rolling around in the paddock, like I couldn't breathe. And I was moving my legs because I was so afraid that I broke my back falling off the
Oh,
horse.
sweet.
So I was
Oh,
like
gosh.
motoring my legs like a bicycle going around in a circle on the ground. I couldn't breathe.
That's awful.
I was like 10 and my riding instructor comes over and she's just standing over me going, "You're all right. You're all right. Yep. Walk it off."
I remember this giant metal washing tub that we had. You know, those big
Oh,
metal
no.
tubs.
Yeah.
Tied a rope around it. Let's make a swing. And then you fall out of the swing. You're on the ground and the big tub is coming towards you to give you that extra kick in the ass and just goof right in your teeth. You're like, you just fly backwards.
Yeah, that never ends well.
You're on the
when
ground and you're looking up and it's coming towards you.
it's like a
Oh, no.
cartoon.
Uh-huh. Oof. It was like so Tom and Jerry, everything I ever did.
That phrase, "let's make a," never ends well. It just, let's make a fort. I did have a lot of forts collapse in on me.
Oh,
Especially the
totally.
indoor ones where you'd take a blanket and you'd pile chairs and stuff, and then you'd be using different things for weights to hold the blanket on as a tarp over the roof. And then you'd crawl in there and you'd accidentally yank on the blanket, and then whatever like onyx sculpture or,
Your mom's Linux
Yeah,
just slams you right in the head.
whatever you had that was holding this stuff, it just fell in on you.
Well, we would make them outside and be like, this roof is steady, and be standing on the roof. It was like a shanty, and then
Right.
the roof would fall and you just jump
Right.
because the whole thing is just collapsing,
Yeah,
fly through the air.
I'm stunned too at how many times I was playing somewhere that was unsafe, like like some abandoned barn, full of like splinters and
We were always in the wash, or these abandoned. Yeah, we had an old barn. One of our houses had riding stables in the back, full of black widows and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, and once when we were at our house in the woods when I was real little, I had this kitten, and I was playing with the kitten outside, and we had these logs that kind of bordered. They served as like a little bit of a border on this hill that went down into a quarry. So it was like a little mini cliff, right? But the logs were like, okay, stop here. So
Right.
my kitten went under the log, and I stuck my hand under there, and I was wiggling my hand and like banging on the log to try to get the cat to play so I could grab her. Unbeknownst to me, I was banging on a hornet nest. And it was like Ride of the Valkyries, like all of a sudden thousands of hornets came out and stung me all over. And I was running around the yard like,
That's so Tom.
throwing like pulling my clothes off. And I ran down to the quarry and I just dove into the quarry. And my mother comes running outside with a broom.
Slamming you.
And there's hornets everywhere. I was so badly stung. I had to lie still with frozen. Remember the frozen popsicles in the plastic tubes?
Of course.
I would lie down on my stomach, and my mom had those things all over my body. And then when they melted, I'd roll over, and she'd put them all over the top. I was so badly stung. I had meat tenderizer everywhere, trying to bring down the swelling.
Wow.
That was brutal.
And that kitten was all doo-doo-doo. What was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kitten's name?
That was Valentine.
Valentine.
Yeah.
How cute. Little baby
Yeah.
girl.
Little
You were
Valentine.
tore to shreds by a hornet.
Yeah, I was. And to this day, if a stinging insect like hornet, wasp, yellow jacket, horsefly, horsefly
out.
stings, man, they hurt. If anything comes near me, it's like a cartoon. It's like, and then all that's left is like smoke wherever I was. And I'll start screaming like, "Oh my God, a bee!" And I'm out of there.
I love seeing very like classy, quiet women when there's a bee because they just get up and just like you see their body just fly through the air. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not the it'll go away. Or if someone starts waving at it,
that's
I'm like,
me.
"Oh
I'm
my
like,
God, don't
just
make it
leave it."
mad. Don't make it mad."
The bee will like land on me and I'll just sit there. I'm like, hi bee, and it's just whatever,
Yeah, not me. Not after that.
No.
Yeah, that was pretty traumatic. I got in a lot of scraps chasing pets too, because I also remember playing in a lot of dirt, like filthy, horrible.
So fun.
Right,
Dirt's
because you'd
fun.
find some like junkyard or some abandoned whatever it is, and it's a fort or it's Indiana Jones or something, and so you're climbing and running all over, and you end up. I remember once on my cousin's farm. Shout out Michelle. There was an old car, like an abandoned car somewhere on the property, and it wasn't theirs.
Fun.
It was like left there from who knows when. And we went out to that thing with baseball bats and just smashed it to smithereens. Like,
how fun.
yeah, like denting it, smashing the windshield and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a wonder that none of us got shards in our eyes or, I'm so amazed. And you see these memes about how Gen X, we survived our childhoods and all that stuff, but it's true. It's like,
right?
riding in the back of a station wagon with no seatbelt and the window rolled down, and you're like 60 miles an hour and you're just sitting back there eating your Fritos, like whatever,
Station wagon. We sat in the back of a bed of a truck with like the air blowing on us on the freeway.
Me
It's
too.
wild.
Me too. I know. I mean, one big bump and you're like, what?
I remember getting cardboard boxes and sliding down the wash, like the concrete, and like rolling out of the box and just tearing yourself up on the concrete.
Oh,
and
like in
rolling
the
down.
aqueducts, like in
Yeah, we
in
call
LA?
it the wash, but yeah, aqueduct, and they were super steep, and we'd be like, let's get a box and roll down the concrete,
Right into
What?
the contaminated water that was like trickling
man.
through. Yeah, and if for those of you who don't know about the wash or the aqueducts in Greece, when they have the car race, that's in the LA aqueducts. So that's
That is
what
what it looked
Amy's
like.
talking about.
I would roll down that thing in a box.
Yeah, and did you know some of the actors, or it might have been some of the actors, but I know it was the director who shot that scene. He got an infection from standing in the water that was in that aqueduct. Like, there's just so much garbage and putrid,
there's
whatever.
Mosquitoes. There's always still water with mosquitoes in California.
Yeah.
If any water that sits there, we're always in a drought, so there's not a lot of water. But when there is, there's mosquitoes just sitting in there waiting
Right.
to open themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same here. We, in New York State, it's green and lush in the summertime. And I've never been a person that mosquitoes were attracted to. I don't know why, like poison blood. I don't know what it is, but I can sit next to someone who's getting eaten alive and I'm just like, nope, I'm good.
I know why. I know why they don't touch you, because you still have remnants of like Tang and Astro Pop and Strawberry Quick in your blood. They're like, fuck this shit. We're going to die.
Yeah. Like one of them, they sent a scout and he died because my blood was full of chemicals.
Your name is on a poster at their headquarters. And it's like, our friend died of Strawberry Quick poisoning back in 1976. Don't go near this chick.
Super elastic bubble plastic in my blood. Yeah.
AIDS diet candy. Do not go near woman or girl.
Poison caramels with who knows what kind of appetite suppressant chemical. Dexatrim, whatever. Yeah, we certainly, well, in my house, we ate a lot of TV dinners. And now, in my mom's defense, I liked them. Like, I requested them and wanted them. Yeah, so she would make them, like, for lunch, you know, or for dinner for me or whatever. But who knows? I mean, Salisbury steak?
Girl, forget Salisbury steak. What about those two blobs of fat with breading that they called chicken, and you break it open? There's no chicken even in there.
Right.
It was just fat with breading.
Right.
And
like gristle.
It was just gristle.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even chicken.
No.
You're all, what? It looked all big, and you're all, where's the chicken?
But hey, you know what?
One little nothing.
Today, I mean, we have GMO foods now, and honestly, I think I maybe would rather eat a Salisbury steak than like genetically modified fruits and vegetables, because that stuff scares me.
A lot of things have been genetically modified that are not even bad for you. It's just a hybrid. But I mean, I don't want some fake thing that's going to make me grow a tail. But as far as toys and us getting just raked over the coals, I feel like it was still really fun. I didn't have regrets. I was like, all right, my arm is, I could see my bone, but I'm cool. I had a lot of fun tying those roller skates underneath that piece of plywood and rolling down my street. It was cool.
I don't know if I feel that way. Like, I guess it would depend, because I have a vivid memory. Sledding. You know what? Here's something that maybe you don't relate to, but anybody in a snow climate.
Right.
The injuries. Sledding is like, I mean, it is a deadly sport. It is a deadly sport. First of all, you're careening down a hill, and it's not like the hill was designed for sledding. It's not like it's an organized park where they have any kind of bumpers or safety features or anything like that. You just find a hill, and there's snow and ice, and then everyone has any manner of vehicles. Like, some people have the saucer sled, which is just this big frisbee that you sit on and you just go whoosh down the hill. Like you sit on it cross-legged. Other people would have the old school, like old-timey Citizen Kane Rosebud sled. Mm-hmm. That thing.
Those were major.
Every dentist, anywhere in a snow area loves those sleds, because kids come in with teeth knocked out from those things, because you lie on it on your stomach and you're steering it with the levers on the top. You're steering it with your hands, and you hit something, you hit a block of ice or whatever, your face goes right into the sled. So you get a fat lip or knock your teeth out, and then you flip over, and then the sled hits you in the head on the way down the hill.
Exactly.
Like, it's so brutal. And there was one time I was in second grade, and it was some school event. It was like a field trip to somewhere. I don't remember where. But the end of the hill stopped, and it had like a 3-foot drop. So if you were going fast enough, you would go off the edge and then just drop like 3 feet. And I was sitting on a sled with this girl, Debbie. I won't say her last name in case she's around, but I'm sitting on it, and Debbie and I are like sitting there toboggan style. It was kind of a toboggan type thing. And we go down the hill right past where we're supposed to stop. It was like whoosh. And we went right off the thing, came down and smacked on the ground. And I swear, I hit my tailbone so hard, I felt it go right up my spine into my head.
Ooh,
Like it was the
that's
worst
so scary.
feeling in the world. And
That's so
I was
70s.
Oh yeah, and I was never right after that. Never quite right. Like my
Girl.
back, grew crooked and all this stuff. I'm convinced that particular hit was like, I don't know, messed up something. And boy, I can still feel that thing going right into the bottom of my skull. Like it was so bad.
That
and
is so 70s.
Debbie was fine, of course.
Debbie brushed herself off.
Yeah, she hit it. She didn't hit it like I did, but oh, that was painful. Yeah, sledding. People now they go tubing, where they used to back then too, where you'd have a big inflated tube and you'd go down the hill. Now here's what happens with the tube. You end up falling off the tube, like you roll off it and you're laughing and you're like, oh, I got it, but you're in the middle of the hill. So you're like, I gotta pick this up. And then somebody comes careening down and just takes you right out at the knees. And then they keep going.
Your feet fly in the air.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and
you might do like a somersault.
Right under you.
Yeah. And then you land on your
them
face.
horizontally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tubing, no. Sledding looks like fun. It's great in theory. But the reality of it for me, just like swimming at a pool party, any other person can go to a damn pool party and be fine. But I would go to the pool party and come home bleeding from somewhere because I hit my head. I don't know. I fell. I slipped. I scraped my arm.
Don't run around the pool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was me. Yeah. Or you dive in and do the belly flop. Oh, that pain. Oh, my gosh.
That felt like the dodgeball feeling for your whole body.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like a smack. Like a hard, weird smack. And the pain went right through you. And you would try to like crawl out like, I'm cool.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Fine. I'm fine. And then you just quietly like sit in a lounge chair wrapped in a towel for the next hour.
Right.
Yeah, that's never good. Yeah, so Aim, we're totally out of time, but what a fun convo,
man.
Right?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Playtime or slay time?
Oh, wow.
Right? I think that's
right.
That's clever. We came up with that.
You came up with that. Good job. Proud of you.
Yeah, thanks for listening, you guys. We still love you. And remember, you can reach out to us and give us topic suggestions. We're always looking for crazy things to talk about. So hit us up on Twitter, GlitterBeeGirls, or Instagram, GlitterBeeGirls. Or we have a website, AIM. We have a website, right?
That's so 2000s of us.
I know. It's so 21st century. It's glitterboomgirls.com. You might be listening to us on that website. But yeah, and whatever platform you're on, listening to us on, we're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon. Like we're everywhere. YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes, YouTube. Yeah, check out our YouTube because we're going to put a bunch of this stuff up. A bunch of
the 1 foot kid with the brick in the back of the
right.
What's that? 2 bricks back here, Gordon, so
with
this thing doesn't tip over.
His non-street legal big wheel that's somehow aftermarket modified to be able to do all the tricks he can. But yeah. Anyhow, so thanks for listening, you guys. We'll catch you next time. I'm Robbie-Ann McPherson on the East Coast.
I'm Amy Asbury on the West Coast.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.